Prison cases after the toll of coronavirus in China, where SKorea cases double. Beijing/Seoul, Reuters. The new coronavirus has infected nearly 500 people in Chinese prisons, about half of them outside the central epidemic, while South Korea has reported 100 new cases, which have multiplied infections, authorities said on Friday. The overall increase in new cases in China has been relatively small, but changes in how it is known have raised questions about the accuracy of their daily censuses, and 234 cases among prisoners outside Hebei have ended from 16-day declines in the new mainland except for the province. According to official figures, China has more than 75,400 cases of coronavirus and 2,236 people have died from the disease, known as COVID-19, mostly in Hebei and its capital, Wuhan, where the virus appeared on a wildlife market in December. As international authorities tried to prevent the virus from becoming a global epidemic, Chinese Vice Minister of Science and Technology Zhu Nenpin said that his first vaccine would be introduced to clinical trials in late April. With financial leaders from the group of 20 leading nations ready to discuss the risks facing the global economy in Saudi Arabia at the end of the week, the International Monetary Fund said it was too early to tell the impact of the virus on global growth. However, Asian stocks retreated after fears of a creeping disease spread, sending money to flee to the shores of America's assets, pushing the dollar to a 3-year high. The concern of COVID-19 has risen to a new level amid fears of a virus outbreak in Beijing and outside China, said Rodrigo Castro, chief foreign exchange strategist at NAB. High cases in 2 prisons outside Hebei, in North Shandong Province and Eastern Zhejiang Province, accounted for most of the newly confirmed 258 cases outside the earthquake epicenter on Friday. The authorities said that those responsible for the outbreak had been expelled and that the government had sent a team to investigate the outbreak in Shandong. Hebei also adjusted the number of confirmed cases to 220 to determine the cases in their prisons. Regional officials did not say when the 271 cases were diagnosed in 2 prisons in the province, but 230 of them were in a women's prison in Wuhan, according to the Hebei Daily. A resident wears a temporary face shield in a housing complex in Wuhan, epicenter of the outbreak of the new coronavirus, Hebei Province, China, February 21, 2020. Reuters/Stringer. The data showed that the mainland of China had 889 confirmed new cases of coronavirus as of February 20, up from 394 the previous day. The death toll has risen 118, most of them in Wuhan, which is still under virtual closure. The virus has emerged in 26 countries and territories outside mainland China, killing 11 people, according to a Reuters tally, with South Korea the latest hotspot with 100 new cases taking its total to 204. Most South Korean cases are in Daegu, a city of 2.5 million, where scores were infected in what authorities described as a super-spreading event at a church, traced to an infected 61-year-old woman known as Patient 31 who attended services. South Korean officials designated the 2 areas as special care zones where additional resources will be deployed, including military medical staff and isolation facilities to help hospitals. Malls, restaurants and streets in Daegu were largely empty, with the mayor calling the outbreak an unprecedented crisis. In Hong Kong, which has confirmed 69 cases and 2 deaths, dozens of police officers were quarantined after an officer tested positive following a banquet on Tuesday. Good shape or bad? Another hotspot has been the Diamond Princess cruise ship, held under quarantine in Japan since February 3. Japan, which has faced criticism of the handling of the onboard quarantine, reported the deaths of 2 elderly passengers on Thursday, the first fatalities from aboard the ship, where more than 630 cases account for the biggest cluster of infection outside China. As G20 finance ministers prepared to meet, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said she hoped the economic impact of the virus would be a V-shaped curve with a sharp decline in China and a sharp rebound after containment of the virus. but we're not excluding that it might turn to be a different scenario, she said. China's Commerce Ministry said it is looking into more financial measures to support companies. Fears of contagion triggered violence in Ukraine, where residents of a town clashed with police, burnt tires and hurled projectiles at a convoy of buses carrying evacuees from Heba to a quarantine center.